And they say, well, let's just go down the local, ask more questions, wear good shoes. These are big numbers. This is Bertrand Russell, the great philosopher and mathematician. Bertrand Russell, he once spent, this is an incredible thing, wrote a book with A.M. Whitehead called Principia Mathematica. This is one of the things I love about science. It's thorough. In Principia Mathematica, it took them 10 years and 356 pages to prove for certain that 1 + 1 equaled 2. That is thorough. Because until then, a lot of people had a hunch it did. No, Bertrand Russell was one of the few people whose teachers would occasionally say, do you know what, Bertrand, you don't have to show all your working out. You're not getting to the end of a lot of these, are you? It's 17 + 9, it could take 40 years. And that's what I think is very, when touring around and getting to meet, as Matt does and the others you're going to see, one of the great things is we are seeing so many people who we're often told, if you pick up the newspapers, you're always being told these things, oh, children nowadays, aren't they ghastly, right? Children are no more ghastly than they've ever been, right? This is one of the great things, is we're often being told when we should be wondering about the beauty of the world, we're being dragged into little kind of bits of tittle-tattle. And I want to give you an example of how fantastic children's minds remain. Like for my generation, when I was a kid, there was a magazine called Look and Learn. What a fantastic title for a magazine. How instructional. Not just look, look and learn. That's great. And we did a show a while back, and it was at the Edinburgh Science Festival, and this is a good example of the brains that are still out there amongst children, the wonderful things, right? We were doing this show, and it was with Brian Cox, and we showed an episode of Wonders of the Solar System, and then afterwards there was a Q&A, 600 people in a room asking questions, fantastic questions about whether we can ever get theatre of the universe, the relativistic nature of time, the nature of the pulsar. There was one old man at the back who asked a question which suggested a backstory that was wonderful. This old man at the back just went, I've always wondered this. Is it true that if I wore a lead life belt, I would be able to pass through a black hole unscathed? And we didn't want to give the real answer, which is current scientific thinking suggests no, because it sounded like he put a lot of effort in. And if we said no, he'd have just kind of stood up and gone, I can't believe it, my whole life wasted, sciatica for nothing. But then, at the front, we noticed there was a group of children, and we hadn't seen them. They were like 10, 11 years old. It was like something, oh, and they're so keen, please, we've got a question, right? And they're, sorry, we missed you, you've got a question. And the whole audience are looking, because this boy's kind of got an angelic face, he's 10 years old, he's really wants to ask a question about science. Everyone's looking, going, look at it, wonderful, a child with a question. I wonder what the child would ask. It may well be a very simple question, perhaps a silly or stupid question, out of the mouths of babes. Who knows? It may be a question about Martians or rainbows, but let the child speak. So he looked up and he went, I'd like to ask this, Professor Cox. Dark energy, is it merely a fiction created by scientists to cover an area of knowledge we'll never truly understand? And he went, we're having a bit of trouble with that one, so we'll move on. So, that is the great thing. There is a lot more hope than you might imagine. Now, someone else from Festival Spoken Nerd, who is she managed to combine a fantastic scientific intellect with also a wonderful way with a tune. So please welcome to the stage, Helen